Here on Sunday Today this morning, we're continuing our special coverage of the war in the Persian Gulf. News reporters and cameramen are seeing only a small fraction of the action in the Gulf War. They don't like it, of course, but it's a fact of life. Not much you can do about it. Pentagon press regulations control the information flow. But the military knows the importance of a visual record of war, and compiling that record is the duty of combat camera teams. They're soldiers who go into battle armed with guns and with videotape. Bill Lagatuda shows what they do.
You guys got your tapes already from headquarters?
No, not yet.
3 Air Force sergeants packing up to go to war in the Middle East. But these young men are among a different breed of soldier. They carry guns and cameras. 26-year-old Tuan Nguyen was born in Vietnam. His family fled to the U.S. after the fall of Saigon. 26-year-old Newton Buckner of Sacramento, California. He was in Saudi Arabia last August. Now he is being redeployed. And 28-year-old Kevin Conroy, a new father who might use a camcorder like this one to record his son's first steps. Instead, he will be taking it with him into battle. And these are the kinds of pictures Kevin and the others will be taking. The sights and sounds of war, all to be sent back to the Pentagon and, after military review, to be seen on American TV screens.
Toughest part, just staying alive. Everything else comes second nature.
Kevin Conroy first saw combat in 1989, and the images the world saw of the invasion of Panama were made by Kevin and other members of the military's Joint Audio-Visual Detachment, better known as Combat Camera. Soldiers who are trained not only in how to fight a battle, but how to photograph it. It's dangerous work.
You do what you have to do. You take the pictures, but if your life's in jeopardy or other people are in jeopardy, then you're, let's say, a soldier.
Senior Master Sergeant Patrick Nugent shot still pictures in Panama using a new high-tech camera that doesn't shoot film.
It's a Sony still video camera, and it's one of the cameras that we have deployed out in reference to Desert Storm right now. And it records imagery on a 2-inch disc. And this allows us to photograph action immediately or mission requirements immediately, run to a transmitter that's hooked to a phone line and transmit this material immediately back to Washington, D.C. in 2 minutes.
That's a long way from the first combat photos taken during the Civil War. In World War I, military photographs from the air proved that planes could sink ships.
A date which will live in infamy.
Combat photographers recorded the attack on Pearl Harbor and many other unforgettable images in the Second World War.
Photography may not win a battle, but it can sure win a war.
Colonel Thomas Diamond was a combat cameraman in Vietnam. Today, he is the worldwide commander of the program for the Air Force, in charge of 1,700 photographers and technicians worldwide. And his vice commander is the head of all Desert Storm combat camera operations.
We're not media. Now, while we use the same tools that you do, our job is to document the activities that are going on for operational purposes. We are part of the fighting force. We're not part of a media gathering team or a public affairs team. And so we have to be very careful to draw that line. So our job is to document the good, the bad, the maybes, the questions, so that we can learn from our mistakes and learn from our victories.
The mission is what? Is it simply to document for history?
Well, documentation for history is certainly a very, very important thing, but the most important thing is to document for operational analysis whether or not the weapons that they used are in fact performing the way they were designed to perform, whether or not their tactics are properly applied or there may be some adjustments, whether or not their deployment was correct, and if it was correct, to make sure that it can be duplicated in the future.
Today, the Air Force's audiovisual service uses state-of-the-art computerized electronic imaging centers. And right now, battlefield cameramen and women are carrying satellite transmission dishes in suitcases. and one day may transmit live combat pictures directly to the Pentagon. So Sergeant Newton Buckner, who as a kid wanted to work in television, is looking forward to Saudi Arabia, where, with the news media being kept away from the front, he may end up being the eyes and ears of the world.
It is in the back of my mind that there might be a very good chance that the only pictures that the world sees is from people like myself and everyone else of the military photographers who are going to be over there. So it is a very great responsibility, but a responsibility that I feel I can handle.
For Sunday Today, I'm Bill Agatura, NBC News at Norton Air Force Base, California.